Hello, got another video for you, and I want to thank you, big thank you to everyone who subscribed. I've got 160 subscribers now. That probably seems small in the scope of YouTube, but I'll tell you something, it's a compliment. If I was talking in a room full of 160 people, I would feel a big compliment that they wanted to hear what I had to say. You might not agree with everything I say in these videos, it's okay. You might not like how long they are or how short they are, leave me a comment. It's nice to know what people think, but it's a big compliment for people to click subscribe. It means a lot. So this is a short video. Knowing me, it's probably not going to be short enough, I'm sure. A friend of mine was asking, how do I tell if a butternut squash or an acorn squash is good? Hopefully the color on this will show it. This is a butternut squash, and the closer it is to like the color of an egg yolk, well, let me think of something else. I raise chickens, so our egg yolks are pretty they're pretty dark and orange and really rich. But this is, you know what? If you have something in a video of all the colors, let's see, there's that. Something green. Usually a digital camera will pick it up a little bit better if you've got all the colors represented. So do you see how orangey yellow that is for a butternut squash? So look, the outside does not look great, but I cut into it and it looked pretty good. It's you can see there's moisture there. It's not dried out. And a butternut squash is, here's the other half, it's going to be like a gourd. So, you want the inside to be a rich, kind of a dark yellow, and not look dried out. Now I'll show you this acorn squash. See, it's so pale and it's dried out, and I thought they don't want to eat that. Sometimes they'll eat a little bit, but what I do, I cut it to where I can put it down flat on a paper towel, and then I put it back in the fridge, and that it's less likely to do any mold. And I will, if it's a good one, I will cut as thin as I can do off the surface so it's flat again, but I cut off, the dried out part, because sometimes there can be a little bit of mold you can't see, but the inside, the rest of it is good. Which I've done with cake. I'm not going to go on about that, but sometimes it's something you really want to eat, so just cut off the mold, right? I probably shouldn't have said that. So I like cake, what can I say? But these little bites, they're shaped like little triangles. What is it focusing on? Focus on my hand. Okay, I've washed my hands. Little triangles, little cubes. So I cut a circle, and then I cut that circle into little, pieces like that. And then I will go through and I will cut at an angle all the way down. I try not to make them perfect squares because I want them to pile up. I want them to be able to get a bite. Also, if you're cutting into anything you get from the store, should look like that, right? But if you're cutting into it with a knife all the way through, whether it's these guys, acorn squash, or you're cutting up an orange or cutting an apple, cutting a watermelon, cutting, anything big or small, rinse it off. 30 seconds under the running water will get rid of a majority of the germs on the outside. If you want to rub the outside as well, that'll help. Then you cut into it, because I'll tell you something. I've eaten melons where somebody didn't do that. They cut right into it, and I'll tell you, I got sick. So, it was the kind of sick where you can tell you just ate something that had a little bit of, dirty hands handling it. It's a different kind of feel. So this is that's a saucer from espresso mugs. It was just kind of flat enough for them. That's what I used. But this is just to answer some really simple questions about, how can you tell? And I'm looking at my camera and I'm looking at this. This is a little bit more orange, colored. I wonder what I can do to show like how orange. See, it looks lighter there, but it's kind of a peach orangey color. And that's how you can tell if an acorn squash should be a little bit yellower, a little bit darker than a butternut squash. Wait a minute. It's similar. Sometimes they're darker, sometimes they're not. But, You know, you wouldn't want a dried out melon, so that's going to go in the trash probably. These will last a long time on your countertop. Like through the winter time, I grew some and I had like 10 of them sitting on the counter all winter, and then we had a freeze, so we couldn't go to the store and get our greens. So they ate some of this for a couple of days, and I'll tell you something, they were pretty happy. So I got Murray a good pile, working on Rose, and that's what we're doing. Try not to cut yourself. I guess I should say that as a warning, because I just did. Anyway, so that's about what I do, and I hope that answers the questions on how do you pick these out. Bearded dragons love them. So I can't have a bearded dragon video without showing the dragons. So here we go. Murray. 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 Hello. Hello. He's so pretty. Look, he's gonna shed. Now let's go show Rose. Hey, Rose. Hello, Rose. She's in a little bit of a slump right now. I hope she's okay. She didn't want to eat her greens yesterday, which is very strange. I gave her some water, but you know what? Look at this. Her hand is shedding. That was too quick. I hope she's just a little bit down because she's shedding, but I bet when I give her this butternut squash, she'll perk up. So I hope this video answered just a very specific question about how do you pick out a butternut squash and an acorn squash. So for those of you who don't know, hopefully this helps. Have a good afternoon, morning, nighttime, and I'll see you next time.